Good evening and welcome to the Sacramento Summer Music Virtual Festival of Concerts. My name is Susan Lamb Cook, and I am director of the VITA Academy's Great Composers Chamber Music Series, which, along with the Sacramento Baroque Soloists and the Sacramento Guitar Society, is bringing you this series of concerts. The mission of the Great Composers series is to present quality chamber music concerts throughout the community, as well as to train young musicians in the art of chamber music performance. Although our performance venue, normally the lovely Scott Skillman Recital Hall at the Harris Center, has now shifted to this online platform, our commitment to bringing you these great chamber works remains firm. I'm excited to share the stage with dear friends and colleagues, and look forward to bringing you some live conversation with violist Cassandra Lynne Richburg and my colleagues from the UC Davis Department of Music, violinist Dagenais Smiley. Included on the program is a pre-recorded conversation with violinist Nancy Wu from the Metropolitan Opera in New York, who had been scheduled to perform on the series at the Harris Center last April. In addition, violist István Polónyi from the István Király Coservatory in Budapest, Hungary, will share some words about composer Zoltán Kodály, whose duo for violin and cello appears later on the program. Some of you may remember Mr. Polónyi for his performance on the Great Composers series a couple of years ago at the Harris Center. I would like to thank our festival sponsors, Chuck Johnson, Jeff Fletcher, financial advisor at Edward Jones, Father Mitch Malazik of St. Anthony Parish, along with the Big Day of Giving supporters whose names will be listed at the end of the program. If you enjoy this concert, please consider making a donation to the VITA Academy using the link in the YouTube description box below to support this virtual event. If you have comments or questions throughout the program, please use the chat feed. I'll do my best to keep an eye on this. I hope you will join us for the Sacramento Guitar Society tomorrow at 7 p.m., the Sacramento Baroque Soloists on Saturday at 7 p.m., and the concluding Great Composers Concert on Sunday at 2 p.m., featuring our young rising stars. Again, thank you for joining us, and enjoy the program. Well, I hope that you enjoyed the Beethoven, and some of you may be wondering how he happened to give it this rather unusual name. It was thought that he wrote this for his friend Nikolaus Zmeskal, who was the secretary for the Hungarian embassy in Vienna, also a cellist, and that they intended to play it together with Beethoven on viola, and of course with both men wearing glasses. It is one of the most famous duos for this combination of instruments, and I am thrilled to have had the opportunity to play it with my dear friend, Lynne Richburg. Lynne, thank you for your performance and for being here with us this evening.
So happy to be here.
As a performing musician, I just want to ask you, how has life changed for you over the past 6 months?
Well, it's been completely flipped upside down. Like I think for most musicians, this is actually the first concert I've played in 6 months. So it was really nice when we started rehearsing to actually hear another tone, a live tone that wasn't through a computer. And I mean, all of our work has stopped. Live concerts aren't happening. We're constantly trying to figure out how to keep audiences safe, ourselves safe, learning how to play with masks on and rehearse outside. We're used to playing close together, and we have to be far apart. So lots of technology. We're now needing to learn remote recording and all sorts of new things. So it's very different than it has been.
It
And
is a
probably
new world. It is a new world, isn't it? And it was kind of fun. We got to rehearse out on my back patio with a nice, more than 6 to 8 foot distance. And it was a very different sort of rehearsal hall, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Great. And I know you also, well, I wanted to ask you too, if you might share with the audience, when did you come to Sacramento and what brought you here?
I came here in 1989 to be part of the Sacramento Symphony. That was a different organization than the Sacramento Philharmonic, which exists now. But suddenly there was an opening for the first stand, and I came and played principal for 2 years and was the assistant principal position after that. So that's what brought me to Sacramento, and I love it here. I'm still here.
And of course, a very special connection for us is the fact that my father, Norman Lamb, played in the viola section at the time you came, and I remember him being so thrilled to have you join the section.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. And I still have his leather mute that he gave me.
That's right. I remember you mentioning
Yeah.
that. That's so sweet. That's so sweet. Well, Lynne, it's just been a great pleasure to work on the Beethoven with you, of course, have you here this evening. And I might also say we are doing another Beethoven program together in October, and that will be part of the UC Davis Noon Concert Series on October 15th. We'll get to revisit the Beethoven Eyeglasses, and we'll also be doing a trio and also a string quartet with our colleague Chase Spruill and also Dagenais Smiley, who is later on the program. So again, Lynne, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
And I hope you enjoy the rest of the concert.
I look forward to it.
Thanks. I hope that you enjoyed this performance of the Bach. This was done with a very dear friend of mine, Nancy Wu, violinist who currently lives in New York. She's an associate concertmaster with the Metropolitan Opera. We were scheduled to perform together on the final concert of the Great Composers Chamber Music Series, which was to take place on April 5th at the Harris Center. Since we were not able to perform together at that time, we thought it would be fun to bring this performance to you. So Nancy, I'd like you to tell me a little bit about what life is like for you in New York right now.
Right now, it's much better than it was 2 months ago or 3 months ago. March and April were very, very stressful. And we actually had a colleague from the orchestra who passed away on April 4th. And another conductor, assistant conductor, who also passed away at the end of May. So we've had some very stressful times, and the whole feeling in New York was there were so many cases of COVID-19, and it was very stressful. Right now, life is slightly normalizing. Still no performances. The Metropolitan Opera is still closed, and we have a tentative opening date of December 31st, but it's highly uncertain, and we're not sure it's going to happen.
What are you doing? What are you doing, Nancy, to keep yourself motivated during this time as a musician and an artist?
Performances like this help hugely. Having an audience to play for, even a virtual audience, makes a big difference. I have found one of my prime motivators of practicing is the thought of performing and playing in the opera night after night. I practice because I have to because I want to feel comfortable playing. Without those performances, it's been very hard.
I think we're all in the same boat. All of the performing artists at this time are just searching for ways to keep ourselves going. But again, it's such a joy to play with you because we have a long history together, don't we?
Yes, we played in a piano trio together in Vienna, and we played many performances. We did competitions together, and lots of wonderful memories. And I felt like we still have that chemistry.
Even virtually, huh? Well, Nancy, I so appreciate you being part of this program, and I promise you, when things begin to open up again and we can start planning for public concerts, you will be on our program and we'll bring you to the Harris Center, and I know how much the audience members will so enjoy hearing you in person. So again, thank you so much for being part of this program, and we'll look forward to hearing more about you and the Metropolitan Opera once things start opening up again.
Thank you so much for having me part of this program, Susan. It's really been such a pleasure to work with you again, and I look forward to live performances with you also.
Yeah. Violist István Polónyi is the head of the upper strings department at the Szent István Király Conservatory of Music in Budapest. He has performed with the Hungarian Virtuosi Chamber Orchestra, the Wiener Sass Chamber Symphony, and the Budapest Festival Orchestra. Some of you may remember István Polónyi from his performance at the Harris Center as part of the Great Composers Chamber Music Series in October 2018. I first met István almost 20 years ago at the Classical Music Festival in Eisenstadt, Austria. Since that time, we meet annually to perform chamber music concerts in Austria as well as in Budapest and the surrounding areas. Sadly, we were not able to meet in person this year, but thanks to technology, we can visit from afar. I have invited István Polónyi to talk to us about Zoltán Kodály, the composer of the duo for violin and cello, which is the next piece on the program.
Oh, it's not easy to talk about Zoltán Kodály just in a few sentences. You know, Zoltán Kodály is for me like a grandfather. Probably you must have heard about the Kodály method, a Kodály system. And we were grown up in that system. You know, Kodály method was introduced in our country in about 1950. I think that was the year when the first music school opened in Hungary, which was working according to the Kodály system. What is Kodály system? Kodály or method. Kodály method is an educational system in which to start music teaching very early. And you know, Kodály was a quite well-known composer, but at the 1925 and after that, he decided that he devotes his whole life to reform the musical education in Hungary. In his system, he says that the most important thing in his method to make people, young people and older people, sing. So singing is very important. Once they ask him how can he summarize the Kodály method? What is, in one word, what is the most important thing in his method? And he said, singing. They said a little more words, singing, singing, and singing. So that's the most important thing. You know, he was brought up in the countryside. As a child, as you may know, he was born in Kecskemét, but later on he moved to Sob and Galanta, which is now in Slovakian territory. And he heard many folk song and folk music in that area. And when he became the student of the music academy, along with Bartók, they went out to collect folk songs, because before that time, people thought that the Hungarian folk music was the one which was played by the Hungarian gypsies, the verbunkos music, you know. Even Brahms and Liszt thought that the Hungarian music was the verbunkos music, and they used the Hungarian Hungarian songs, which were not the original Hungarian songs, of course. They used in their works. You may know that Brahms arranged some Hungarian dances in his work, and also Liszt wrote some pieces using the Hungarian melodies, which were not the actual folk songs. Bartók and Kodály were the ones who collected these songs and put it into their works. And Kodály used the folk songs in many of his works.
Well, István, I thank you so much for talking to us about Zoltán Kodály. And now I would just like to ask you about how life is for you and your family in Budapest over the past 6 months. How has life changed for you?
Oh, quite dramatically. I think it changed a lot, but you know, I try to look at this period as a new possibilities. You know, I have a 4-year-old daughter, so I spent a lot of my time with her. I learned new things. I learned cooking, for example, and I enjoy it very much. It's very creative. I didn't think that cooking is that creative. You know, we didn't have concerts. We had chamber concerts, online concerts. I've played a few online concerts, and now we try to go back to the old days, but still it's very difficult because still the situation is not good enough to have classical music concerts for a big audience. So we don't know what we are going to do in September. We have plans, we have concerts plans, but we'll see what's going to be in those plans. But now we play chamber music. I play next Sunday some chamber music and some chamber orchestra music. That's what we do.
Yes. Well, it sounds very similar to what we're trying to do here. We're trying to find ways to continue bringing music to our audience members in a very safe way, but to lift everyone's spirits through music. So I want to thank you so much, István Polónyi, for being with us here today. And
thank you.
I'm sure all of the audience members, along with me, wish you and your wife, Orsolya, and your daughter, Lena, all the very best as we all work through this very interesting and unusual time in our lives. I am so happy to have Dagenais Smiley here with me this evening and would like to ask Dagenais to tell us a bit about her experience in preparing the Kodály for tonight's program. Dagenais?
Sure. Well, first, I just want to say that thank you so much for this opportunity. I feel really grateful to be able to actually just perform with other people during this time. And this was a really wonderful experience for me. So I really enjoyed it. So it's always interesting learning a new piece. And the Kodály actually was a brand new piece for me. I'd never played it before this. And it was, it's always challenging when you're learning a chamber work because you don't have your partner there when you're practicing. You just have to learn your part yourself, and then hope everything works out when you start putting it together. And of course, listen to some recordings, some great recordings with like Heifetz and Piatigorsky, and that was a big help. But also, there are a lot of sections in the Kodály that are pretty improvisatory in their feeling, and that's always interesting when you're approaching something new, because a lot of times you just start practicing, you're playing it pretty straight, and then you realize like that you have so much freedom of what you can do with some of the lines and some of the music. So that was just a really enjoyable experience for me. It's always fun. It's always a fun challenge to learn something new.
Well, it was really such a pleasure for me to play this piece with you too. It was really a thrill. And of course, we had to do our rehearsing outside on my back patio. And in fact, I had some neighbors telling me the other day how much they enjoyed that, hearing us rehearsing. So that was really nice. And of course, we're going to be playing together again in October, and I'm really excited about that. We're doing a Beethoven program for the UC Davis Noon Concert Series on October 15th, and we'll be performing with Lynne Richburg, who is on this program tonight, and of course also violinist Chase Spruill, who is with us tonight, just not on the program. So I'm just really looking forward to that program as well. But Dagenais, why don't you tell us a little bit about how life has changed for you over the past 6 months?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty big adjustment, as I think, most of us are feeling it. So I went from having, maybe an orchestra performance or a chamber performance or a wedding or, just something that I had scheduled every week, every weekend. And that just stopped cold. And, when we first entered this, we didn't know how long it was going to be. And so, we were all kind of playing the waiting game. And, it appears it's probably going to be a little bit longer than, we were all expecting. But that's why I think we're going to have to explore some of these other options of doing virtual performances or socially distanced performances. So it's been kind of a learning experience for me. I haven't seen my friends in a really long time either, because, every week I play gigs with them and I see them. And I was looking forward to doing some summer festivals, as I think you were too this summer. And those were, of course, canceled. But I did have the opportunity to play WC Quartet with some friends last month. And so that was kind of a nice change of pace, just to be able to play with people again and to also learn another piece that was, is a challenging piece. So it gave me something to look forward to. Otherwise, I've just been trying to practice as much as possible, even though sometimes we don't have specific goals in mind. But it's been a nice opportunity to go back and just run through previous pieces that I haven't had a chance to play in a very long time.
Well, I think, again, we're all in the same boat. We're trying to keep ourselves motivated. And again, I really appreciate you taking the leap of faith and joining me for this first ever virtual performance for us. Of course, we don't get to see each other in the hallways at UC Davis anymore, but we'll keep looking for opportunities to see each other virtually and hopefully on the concert stage again soon. So Dagenais, thank you so much for being here tonight. And I would like to thank the audience members for being here also, and I hope to see them tomorrow at 7 p.m. for the Sacramento Guitar Society, and on Saturday at 7 p.m. for the Sacramento Baroque Soloists, on Sunday at 2 p.m. for our concluding Great Composers Concert featuring our young rising stars. So please consider making a donation to the VITA Academy using the link in the YouTube description box to support this virtual event. If you miss any of these concerts this weekend or would like to view them again, the concert links will remain live after the festival. So again, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and good night.
you.